I just turned 30, April the 10th, and May 13th I found out. My husband had found a knot. It was on the left side, and it couldn't have been no bigger than the tip of my pinky.
2 years ago, Amy Garrison Evans was diagnosed with stage 3 ductal breast cancer. Her doctor told her without chemotherapy and a double mastectomy, she would only have 6 months to live.
It takes so much. You don't feel like a woman, you feel less of a woman. You go to take a shower, and once you take that bra off, I mean, it's just like, I don't know, I feel like you're just looking at a boy's chest, not mine, not what I was. The first year, my daughter, I couldn't even be around her because I would get her sick or she could get me sick. So when I did see her, I had to wear a mask. So me having a mask on or in a wig on, you know, that scared her because that's not her mommy. So it took a lot from me and it took a lot from her.
Okay, so how old are you now?
I'm 32.
Okay. Did they test you for the breast cancer gene?
Yeah.
Do you have it?
No.
And your mom, she was, you said 39?
39 when she
Okay.
died.
Born and raised in Minden? Okay. And you were born and raised in Minden?
In the hills of West Virginia, the former coal town where Garrison Evans grew up is looking for answers. For decades, residents say they've seen their family and neighbors suffer from different cancers and other health problems. By their count, the town has seen a third of its population die of cancer or be diagnosed with the disease in recent years.
Even an outsider will look and see, if you tell them the numbers, oh, that doesn't make any sense. You know, there's something wrong with those numbers.
Ayn Amjad, a physician who lives nearby, has made it her mission to find out why so many of Minden's residents have been getting sick. It's the same mission that drove her father before he died of an apparent heart attack almost a year ago.
I was attracted to Minden community because one of my patients who presented with very unusual symptoms, he came in.
My dad got involved back in the 80s with Minden because he was an oncologist, and he had a lot of patients who were coming in with cancer, lung cancer, lymphomas, and most of them lived in Minden.
That I could not believe that even if I'm coming from a third world country, that there are places like Minden exist in this country.
Dr. Hassan Amjad, a Pakistani immigrant, had a theory about why so many people were getting sick in this community. He believed it could be traced back to industrial chemicals dumped in the area decades ago, but he couldn't prove it.
When he passed away, it was in the paper, so we got a lot of phone calls right away in the offices. A lot of people panicked that no one would pay attention or help them anymore. And then, that's when I told people I will just do my best to see what I can do. Okay, Rose, I'm just gonna ask you a bunch of questions. A lot of it's like health, personal questions if you don't mind. Did you have any surgeries or anything?
Ayn Amjad goes door to door documenting illnesses. She brings her mother along to help, just like her dad did.
I had a daughter.
Okay. Did she grow up here in Minden?
Yeah, she was born here.
How old is she then?
She was 32. She passed away in 2004.
Okay, I'm sorry. Do you mind if I ask why? What happened to her?
She had a brain tumor.
You're getting, I think of it more of a social history maybe, and I'm thinking more it's going to be like of a social project type rather than a scientific journal article type. If we can get each person's story in a vignette, so to speak, and come to some conclusions and back it up with references from studies that have already been done, I think that can help prove some things. Any cancer or anything that you know of?
Uterine cancer.
You do?
Yes.
Uterus cancer. Okay.
I did.
So your brother had leukemia. How old was he?
He was 5.
Oh, he's only 5. Okay. Does anyone in your family have any cancer history?
Oh, yes. Everyone, my mother's died because she had breast cancer.
Who in your family had the
cancer?
My husband. Your husband. Cancer. He had lung cancer?
No. He had liver cancer.
They could stand on my front porch. The guy beside me died of cancer. Annie Waters, she died of cancer. The lady that lived across from her on the hill died of a brain tumor. She had brain cancer. The guy right around the corner died with a brain tumor. So there's too many episodes of cancer from house to house that if you take the exact same square mile or wherever and set it in another area of the county that's the same socioeconomic area and say, okay, how many cases of cancer do you have here? There's something in Minden.
Yeah, that's what we believe too.
Like her father, Amjad blames PCBs, or polychlorinated biphenyls, which were dumped in Minden by the now-defunct Schaefer Equipment Company after being banned by the Environmental Protection Agency in 1979. But she can't prove it either.
The cancer that they are reporting from themselves and from their health history, it's 3 times more than cancer in the surrounding counties. The problem with that is, of course, you're seeing lung cancer, breast cancer, some skin cancers, colon, which is the most common in the country. So it's hard to say that PCB caused those top 3 cancers.
Daryl Thomas, a lifelong Minden resident, remembers how the owner of the Schaefer Equipment Company used PCBs all over town.
He dumps that stuff everywhere, in the creek, on the ground. He's taking it with a tanker with a spray truck down alongside the road to spray to keep the dust down. He's selling it for people as fire starters. So it's just laden. I mean, it's, everywhere you look, it's just not just Schaefer's, it's all of Minden.
The EPA first came to Minden to clean up PCB contamination in 1984. They returned in 1997 when more contamination was found, and again in 2002, declaring Minden safe from PCBs.
We assessed the situation there. We removed 4,400 tons of contaminated soils, drums, capacitors, and did the proper cleanup of the area.
But residents believe that PCB contamination spread during a 2001 flood.
Well, this big flood comes in 2001, washes this place out. Well, everybody's down there trying to scramble to get their lives put back together, and people helping people take their furniture out. We're up here working on the mud, waist high and all that. They're up here in hazmat suits repairing the site. We're down there in that crap, didn't tell nobody. Now, 17 years, 3 years ago, people start dropping like flies, just cancer after cancer after cancer. And I'm saying right there is one of the main reasons.
In response to contamination, the EPA placed an earthen cap over the old Schaefer site, but people kept getting sick. After a 15-year gap since their last work in Minden, the EPA returned in the summer of 2017 to resume testing.
I sympathize with the residents of Minden, and this has and will be a priority for me, and it is a priority for the administrator. To date, everything has been below the 24 parts per million action level, but yet again, as we always have and always will, we do a thorough assessment of the entire area.
In March, the EPA held a town hall meeting to explain their progress. Activists placed signs and crosses around town ahead of their visit. Their main goal? To secure funding from the EPA for relocation.
We are here to help. We do care. And we do want to hear what you have to say.
The EPA's on-scene coordinator, Melissa Linden, explained that so far, test results have shown little to no PCB contamination in the soil and water.
And they need to show an immediate human health risk for us to be able to take that action. So that's why, since my program is not able to take an action because we don't have that data set.
So that's where we are right now, is that they're still testing and convincing residents it's not at toxic levels, you're okay.
I understand science. I understand all the terms you're going to say. I understand the way statistics work. I know all that crap, I'll call it. But common sense person will look around Minden and say that's not normal, okay? It's not normal.
According to data collected by the state of West Virginia, the number of residents suffering from cancer is much lower than reported by the community. But their registry only goes until 2015, and it only includes people who were diagnosed while they still lived in Minden.
So what did you do in school today?
Well, today we made a Mother's Day gift.
Garrison Evans is one of those people who is probably not on the state's official cancer registry for Minden because she was diagnosed after she moved away about 14 years ago. After going into remission, her cancer recently returned. She's worried she won't be so lucky this time.
Because I know I beat it once, but sometimes I sit and think, well, can I do it again? I just wonder if it's somewhere else. I mean, because my mom was 39 years old, and hers started in her lungs. and it spread to 90% of her body within 2 months. Come here, please. It sounds weird, but I never wanted to have kids because when my mom died, I lost my best friend. And thank God I did have my little girl, but I worry every day, am I going to wake up for her?
No.
Now I'll do it.
Dr. Amjad hopes that by collecting the stories of people from Minden, she can help them get funding for relocation, perhaps even to a place she's already purchased.
It's like 97 acres out in the middle of nowhere, with the idea maybe they could move there, but we don't have money for houses. Where would we get the money for that? If I were somehow successful in getting them out of Minden physically, I would feel like I did something. And then I'd probably think I would leave West Virginia.